What if I told you that you could learn 3 of the most important lessons for your photography business from a bass musician? Well, hang in there. Today I'm going to show you how. Kia ora, welcome to my channel. For those who don't know me, I'm Jason Naylor, and I'm a wedding photographer turned business mentor and coach to creatives, specifically other wedding photographers. I help wedding photographers run effective, efficient, productive and creative wedding photography businesses that take them into 6 figures and beyond. If you care about being more productive, more efficient and more creative, consider subscribing. Hit the big red subscribe button, I'd love to have you along. Now, who's heard of Victor Wooten? Victor Wooten is possibly one of the world's best bass players. Tyler Larson says he's one of the best.
And if you don't know who Victor Wooten is, he is probably the best bass player in the world.
Bass Player magazine has ranked him #1 3 times, the first musician to ever receive that. He's won a Grammy Award, in fact he's won multiple Grammy Awards. If you follow musicians, or specifically bass players, Victor Wooten is an absolute legend. And there's a wonderful, wonderful YouTube video on the Music Is Win YouTube channel, where Tyler Larson interviews and plays alongside Victor Wooten. I'm not sure where Tyler thought this video was going to go, but where it goes is more insightful than I ever imagined a bass player or a video about music could ever go. And there were 3 key takeaways from this whole video that I thought related so well to photographers and being a photographer, specifically a wedding photographer. Victor ends up talking about music theory and the importance of music theory. Yeah, it's important to know the rules, but it's important to know them so well, have them stashed away so well that you don't have to think about it. And there's a really, really wonderful riff on the concept of practice versus performance. And I'll go into that in another time. But today, I want to take you through 3 key things that came out of this video. The first is that breaking rules grabs your attention. You notice when rules are broken.
I can do, re, mi, fa, sol, and when I do that, everyone will go, that's really, really, really nice. That's really nice. But as soon as I play one of the 5 notes that aren't in that key. I think
it was the one I pointed at.
Right. You pointed at it and it got your attention, not because it was right, but because it was wrong.
Follow the theory, follow the rules. And everyone says, that's really nice. But who wants to make nice art? You want your art to be more than nice, right? You learn the rules, you learn the theory in order to be right. But the coolest part, the part that gets people's attention, is the wrongness.
We need to learn theory well enough that we can be wrong with it.
Look at this part of the video where Victor plays a wrong note and Tyler notices it, pulls his attention to it. People have asked me, what makes a great photo? To you, what makes a great photo? And my #1 answer to this is always, surprise me. As soon as you start breaking the rules of composition, breaking the rules of focus, breaking the rules of color, as soon as you start playing with people's expectations, then a photo goes from nice to, ooh, you got me. You want to make a good photo? Surprise me. You need to learn the rules well enough so you can then be intentionally wrong with them. And that's where your art goes from nice to, ooh.
We learn theory in order to be right, but the coolest part that gets your attention is the wrongness.
Be wrong and be intentionally right about being wrong. The second point Victor makes is that your art, your bass playing, your photography, it doesn't need to be nice and it doesn't need to be technical. It needs to make people dance.
No matter what note I play, right? That's wrong, that's right. It took me 1 note to know where I was, but you don't care. Listen. These are all the notes. You tell me which one is wrong. All the notes are right. But it's the context that makes it right, not the pitch.
Did you see that part of the video? Victor played all the notes, the right ones, the wrong ones, all of them. And he said, you tell me which ones are wrong. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which ones are wrong, because actually none of them are. They're all right. It's the context that makes it right. So we can get a little bit caught up on things like the technicality of our photos. What's the right lens here? What's the right camera I should be using? What are the right settings on my lens and camera? Should I be standing here or here? I'll tell you a secret. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. It's like the theory behind music. It matters that you understand it, that you can dial it in and get it to work for you, and then it doesn't matter anymore.
If I groove hard enough, I can play any note.
As Victor says, if I groove hard enough, I can play any note. If you are capturing photos with enough emotion, enough storytelling, if you're making people dance, who cares what your settings are? Who gives it what lens you use? Your photography needs to tell stories, show emotions, make people feel something. And if that's in place, none of the rules, none of the theory matters. And then the third part, my favorite part of this whole entire video, is when Victor says, make others look better. Here, watch this bit in the video.
But watch. This is going to make him sound better. Watch. Now what he's playing sounds like the best thing ever. So sometimes to make him sound better, I'll play in a different place.
Victor's just given the most wonderful lesson of all. My job is not to just play with him. My job is to make him sound better.
Instead of just doing this, right? That's cool. This is cooler. I'm gonna reshape his groove to make it sound better. I might go. Right? Keep listening. Right? Now watch. Look at your head now, right?
Your job as a photographer is to make your subject look good. One of my favourite learnings on this came about 9 years ago. I was at Semi-Permanent in New Zealand and Patrick Reynolds was on stage. And he was talking about architectural photography. That's what he specialised in. And he made a really, really important point, and he reinforced this point. And that point was that his job is to make the building look like the architect envisaged it looking. Did you hear that? Not how it actually looks. Not how Patrick the photographer thinks it looks. Make the building look like what the architect designed it to look like. Your job, whether you're photographing buildings or people, is to make people look better.
My job is not to just play with him. My job is to make him sound better.
You're hired.
That's what ends up happening.
Your job isn't to make them look how you see them. Your job is to reflect back to them how they want to be seen. Make them look better. And if you can do that, you will completely and utterly win over your clients. How crazy is that? 3 wonderful photography lessons from a bass player of all things. Learn the rules and break them. Your art doesn't need to be technical. It needs to make people dance, make others look better. I think it's just wonderful how we can get inspiration from areas outside of our domain. And one thing I encourage artists of all kinds to do is to stop looking in their little narrow niche. Stop focusing on that one area where they think most of their inspiration comes from, because that's where they're working. The sooner you can start to open your mind to more areas, more niches, more creativity, more art, the wider the pool of inspiration and ideas will come to you, the more creative you will be. So what are you going to do today to go out there and broaden your horizons, expand your mind, and take in more than just your little field, your little niche? Hey look, I'm quite new here, and you might be too. So if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, if you like the message I'm delivering, why don't you hit that big red subscribe button and let's join me on this journey. See where we go. Love to have you around. Thanks so much.